All right, let's get into the shit. Time restriction. Inflammation, hormones. Time restriction, inflammation, and hormones. I was initially going to cover these separately, but I realized you really can't separate them. They're so closely related. If you're already doing the BMR thing for your diet, if you understand your macronutrients, you have your calories, you have your macronutrients, and then it's like the what's. What am I eating? And it's like I know how much I'm eating with calories. Generally what types of food you're going to be eating with carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Now it's like, well, what the types of foods specifically, like broccoli versus cauliflower, right? You wouldn't get that nuance, but let's say like a French fry versus, I don't know, if you had a side at a restaurant. We all know like French fries are worse than broccoli, but why, right? Like what is it? Like if you have calories-wise the exact same, and if you have your presumably similar macronutrient breakdown like carbohydrates or protein or fat, your carbohydrates in your broccoli are going to be somewhat similar to the ones in French fries, depending on how much you get, right? If you had like several cups of broccoli and like a cup of French fries, you can get a similar profile. So why are our French fries so much unhealthier? But what is inflammation? Inflammation, one of my favorite words to use. It is something that is affected by almost everything. I actually like to think that even though inflammation sounds like a very technical, scientific term, it is actually a very broad response to what's happening in the body. It is basically your body saying, there's something happening inside of it and we need to combat it. We don't know what it is. So that's all fine and dandy. Now let's get into why does that affect your diet, right? Let's talk about chronic inflammation. Chronic is sustained, it's happening over a long period of time. My favorite example, because you'll notice immediately, drink a heavy beer and notice immediately how bloated you are. That's gluten, that's alcohol, grain, right? That's usually heavy beers have a lot of carbs in them. All the things that essentially draw the inflammation and water retention, and you'll immediately feel bloated. Hormones, very directly related. When you're dealing with an inflammatory response, cortisol and adrenaline skyrocket. Those are hormones. Cortisol, that's my favorite one. I talk about a lot. It's this more nuanced thing that we deal with on a daily basis from the moment you wake up. In fact, cortisol is what helps you wake up in the morning. If you notice at night you kind of get sluggish, you're like, oh, I'm getting kind of tired, my body feels weak. Like you don't want to work out 11 at night. You kind of just want to hang out 11 at night. Cortisol is starting to drop, right? Adenosine starts to go up, which is think of it as like a tiredness receptor that goes in the brain. As that starts to go up, which is why you're not supposed to have caffeine, by the way, because the caffeine actually fills the same receptor that adenosine does. So like, if you keep filling the receptor size for adenosine, you don't get tired. Now, cortisol goes down, adenosine goes up, and then you feel sleepy, you feel sluggish, you feel like you don't have a lot of, muscles don't feel like they're activating very quickly, which is exactly what's happening. Because when in reverse, in the morning, when that nice blue ray of sunshine hits you in the face, at 8 a.m., and you feel like you need to get out of bed, hopefully, if you're a healthy individual, you're like, oh, yay, the new day, I want to wake up and do shit. That's cortisol. What I like about time restriction is that it kind of replaces the need to do the anti-inflammatory or compounds. But for this conversation, we're going to just replace inflammation hormones. Time restriction. This is intermittent fasting, right? This is people going on water fast, like 7 days. When you pass a certain point of fasting, so like every day you fast every day when you go to sleep. You have a certain period of time, you don't eat, and then you break your fast with breakfast, right? That's why it's called break fast. And breakfast can be noon, 4 p.m. For me, my breakfast is 4 p.m. because that's when I break my fast. That's my time restriction. At some point, depending on how well your body is acclimated to fasting, like actual extended fast, it will enter this point of hormetic effect. Think of it this way. I'm no longer eating. Your body's going like, okay, you're no longer eating, you're not consuming energy. I'm gonna go do shit that's gonna help us later. So Hormesis is a stress response, to be fair. There are some good stressors, and that's a good one. Hormesis is like, okay, I gotta get shit done. I'm gonna get stronger to handle this stressful situation for later, right? A lot of what we do for our bodies is like that. Working out is like that. Working out is hormesis. It's like, it's not great for my body. It hurts a lot and tissues are breaking, but I'm overcoming the situation, becoming stronger next time. It's also known as anti-fragility. It's like when you put stress on a system, it comes back stronger. I've never lost fat faster than when I make sure my inflammation is low as possible. I manage my hormones based on inflammation, like cortisol and stress hormones, adrenaline, endorphins, and also manage my time restriction. When I do all of these things, and I do these really well, it far exceeds anything I can do with my calories and my macronutrients I've noticed, right? It's phenomenal. I sleep better, I recover way faster. That's important. You do the hard workouts, and the next day you're like, oh, I'm too sore, I can't work out because my body so hurts. You recover so much faster. Think about this. You're in the hormetic effect. Your body is literally optimizing for the next stage of your dietary focus, right? So like I don't eat for 24 straight hours. Your body's repairing tissue so fast, your muscles. It's so quickly, comparatively when you're consuming things and you're causing yourself inflammation, right? So I lost fat really fast, and in return, well, I just said it, recovering from muscles. So recovering from workouts. So I'm losing fat really fast and I'm gaining muscle really fast. And this is the thing that I love to personally focus on, and I help my clients, and I've seen a huge, huge change. How about, here's something to help people stay compliant with their diet. You get them, I had a client lose 26 pounds one month because I reduced his inflammation. I had him go on an anti-inflammatory diet, boom, 26 pounds gone. And even though that was all mostly water weight because of how much chronic inflammation he had from the water retention, even though that was mostly water weights, still, he was like, I'm fucking bought in, dude, let's go. Like, this is amazing. I feel great, I'm sleeping better, I lost 26 pounds, what else can we do, right? As long as I manage his expectations, it's not gonna happen every single month. As long as I sustain that, it's good. Like, we can sustain that, and you will too. That is the whole thing. This is all psychology. How can you stick to it? Well, if you're not stressed out all the time and you feel awesome, let's start there. And then we can get you to your goals faster. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.